Hello everyone, welcome to the class. I hope you're all doing good and you're enjoying learning physics with me. So I know you must be worried about a lot of derivations we did in the last 4 classes and we are not doing questions. So today we'll be practicing questions on gravitational field strength, potential and even potential energy also. So let's start the question part. But the first question is also on the gravitational field strength. Let's see how to find out the field strength due to a disk on its axis. The first question is of the day, find field due to a uniform disk of mass m and radius r at its axis. Find gravitational field. If I'm writing field, take that as gravitational field due to a uniform disk of mass m, uniform disk of mass capital M, and let's say its radius is capital R at a distance x from the center on its axis. So this is what we have to do. The first question is also related to actually gravitational field strength. The only thing we have changed, we have done it, we are doing it in a question form. Field strength due to a disk. Now you must be remembering about the gravitational field strength due to a uniform ring. That is nothing but gmx upon r square plus x square power 3 by 2. We have done it already. We'll be using that concept. Now what will be the scenario in this given question? How it will look like? This is how the disk will look like. I am showing you the disk. See that this is a uniform disk and this is entirely solid and its plane is lying perpendicular to the plane of board. So it is lying in this plane. It is lying perpendicular to the plane of the board. Now its axis I am going to show you here. This is the axis and we are required to find out at a distance x from center. So let me say this is distance x from the center. Let's say this point is P, where we are required to find out the value of field strength. Let me show you. This is point P where we are required to find out the field strength. Cannot be treated as a point mass. It's a uniformly distributed mass system whose total mass is m and radius is given as capital R. So let me also show you its radius as capital R, its mass as capital M. That is what I have marked here. We can use the concept of field strength due to a ring. So what we can do, can I draw a ring on its surface? A ring on its surface I have drawn whose radius can be taken as small r and width dr. This is what we can do. We can take a ring on its surface whose radius is given as small r and its width is given as its width. That is what we are talking about. Its width is given as, let's say, that is equal to dr. This is the width. I believe that you all clearly can see that it's given as dr. Now we are required to find out the field strength at this point P. So first of all, can we give the value of field strength due to this ring? And let me show you with a shaded portion this entire solid ring. Entire solid ring has been represented here. This width is dr, its radius is r, and the entire radius of the disk is capital R. This is what has been given to us. First of all, we should know the value of this mass of this elemental ring, and then we can write down the field strength due to the elemental ring. So mass of elemental ring that we have imagined over the surface of the disk, mass of elemental ring whose radius is small r, elemental ring, this will be equal to dm, this will equal to mass per unit area, and area of the disk will be pi capital R square multiplied by the area of the shaded portion. This area, it will be perimeter into the width, that is 2 pi small r dr. 2 pi small r dr. This is what we are going to get. You see pi and pi will be cancelled out. we will be obtaining m upon r square, so 2m upon r square r dr. This is the value of dm. The value of the field we got here, and its direction will be towards the center of the ring. You already know the direction of the field due to a ring is always towards the center of the ring. So here the direction will be oriented along this direction. So I am showing you the direction of the field that will be directed as shown, and this is the center. Let me show you, this O is the center of this ring or disk. That is what we have taken. We got the value of field due to a ring. Now we have to integrate accordingly to get the value of field due to the entire disk. First of all, let me write down the value of field due to this ring. That will be equal to field due to elemental ring that we have taken. Let's say it's dg. That will be equal to, if you remember the formula, g dm into its distance. This distance will be same as x. So g dm x divided by its radius whole square, that is small r whole square plus x square power 3 by 2. This is what we will be obtaining, small r whole square plus x square power 3 by 2. Now the problem lies here. We have taken the variable dm. X is constant, no problem. Small r is varying. First of all, let me write down the value of dm as 2m r dr upon r square. So we will be having the value of dg will be coming out to be g dm, or instead of dm I am writing 2m r dr, 2m r dr divided by capital R whole square, capital R whole square, and we have r square plus x square power 3 by 2. This is what we are having finally, and we have to also multiply here x. You see here g dm x upon r square plus x square power 3 by 2. Dm value I have substituted 2m r dr upon r square, so it is 2m r dr upon r square, and we kept down all the values we obtained. This is the value of small g, that is dg. You see here x is constant, that will be a constant. Only thing now varying is small r. So can we keep everything outside and integrate accordingly? Once again I am writing dg as 2gmx divided by capital R whole square. All the constant I am keeping here, and rest the variables I am substituting here, r dr divided by r square plus x square power 3 by 2. Easy, not a problem. 2gmx divided by r square divided by r square, r dr divided by r square plus x square power 3 by 2. Obtained. What you have to do now? Switch to the diagram. We got the variation of field strength in terms of r. Now when r will be 0, the ring will be lying here. When r equals to capital R, the ring will be lying here on the periphery or the boundary of the disk. Then it means that small r should vary from 0 to capital R to cover the entire disk. You can easily evaluate the field strength by varying the value of small r from 0 to capital R. Switch to the equation. So the value of g is nothing but integration of dg, that will be, keep the constant as it is, 2g mx upon r square, and integrate r dr divided by r square plus x square power 3 by 2, and small r should vary from 0 to capital R. Problem is in integration here. What we can do? Switch to the diagram once again. I'll show you the simple way. If you can observe here, if I connect the one upper point of this disk, this ring, and join it here. If I join this, and let's say this is z, okay, so can I write z square equals to r whole square plus x square? We can write in this way, z square equals to r whole square plus x square. Now as the ring varies on the disk, z will also vary. So if we take differential elements, what we are going to get, we will be obtaining, taking differential element. We are trying to simplify our calculation. Taking differential element, we will be having z square 2z dz. I am writing at the left hand portion, that will be good for us. We have used all the values from this part and hope you would have taken down before I have rubbed this. Let's be very quick. Taking differential element, we will be obtaining 2z dz because z is also varying. Small r is varying, so let's keep it as 2r dr, and x is constant. See here, x is constant, its differentiation will be 0. 2 and 2 cancel out, so r dr we obtained as z dz, that we can substitute, and r square plus x square comes out to be z square. So finally the value of g will come out to be, you see here, the value of g comes out to be 2g mx divided by capital R whole square and integrate r dr z dz divided by r square plus x square power 3 by 2. R square plus x square is z square power 3 by 2 will get z cube. This is what you are going to obtain. I am not substituting the limits because we have to integrate and we don't know the value of z. Okay, so I am not substituting the limits here. 1z and 1z will be cancelled out, you have to integrate 1 upon z square. So finally I am writing 2g mx upon capital R whole square, 1 upon z square integration will be minus 1 by z. So many times we have used this. Minus 1 by z, and that is the limits I will be substituting later on. Z is under root r square plus x square. Substitute z as that we have taken earlier. Z can be substituted as r square plus x square and it's under root, so will be, I am writing finally this is minus under root r square plus x square, and vary the value of small r from 0 to capital R. This is what we have to do. So if we keep the limits, we will be obtaining the answer. We have minus sign here, so you can substitute the lower limit first and then you can substitute the upper limit next. And till the time I rub, you try to obtain by substituting the limits, you will be reaching on to the result. Two g capital M x by r whole square, and substitute the lower limit first, so you will be having 1 upon, you substitute the value of small r as 0, you are getting 1 upon x whole square, that will be 1 by x minus, substitute the upper limit, 1 upon capital R whole square plus x square under root of r square plus x square. This is the value of the field strength that we were required to obtain. So we got the value of field strength as this. I am encircling it. I hope that you can take note till here. 2g mx upon r square, 1 by x minus 1 upon under root r square plus x square. Let's go ahead, let's try to simplify and let's try to make it in such a form that we can easily remember it. What I'm going to do, I'm going to try to simplify this. G can be written as 2g m upon r whole square, and if I multiply this x inside, I'll be having 1 minus x upon under root r square plus x whole square. So I got it. Switch to the diagram. I'll try to show you how simple we can show it. 1 upon 1 minus x upon under root r square plus x square. So x upon under root r square plus x square, if I connect these 2 points, if I connect this point and this point, and let me say that this angle is theta. So can I write cos theta as x upon this length, that is under root r square plus x square. So in very simple words, we can write the formula in very simple words, that will be 2gm upon r square 1 minus cos theta. In very simple words, so this formula is very simple and easy for us to remember and recall. 2gm upon r square. So how will you remember? Into 1 minus cos theta. How will you remember? What you do, remember the formula for a point mass, gm by r square. Although r is the radius, try to remember in this way, and then multiply 2 here and then 1 minus cos theta. Cos theta, easily you can show that it is x upon under root r square plus x square. You can substitute the value of cos theta. Theta, you can see that what we have taken theta in the diagram. See this. This is what the theta that we have taken. Seems to be a lengthier derivation, but okay, and this if you practice, you will obtain and you will find that it's easy and simple for you to recall. Once again, very quick recap of what we have done. Disk, taken a ring, field due to ring, we know. I use the formula for the field. We evaluated its mass in terms of mass of the entire disk. We got it, substituted, we obtained the value of field due to a ring. Now you vary its radius from 0 to capital R and try to simplify in such way that you can integrate accordingly, and so that you reach the final result. The final result seems to be very simple for you all to remember, that is 2g capital M by r square multiplied by 1 minus cos theta. Cos theta is also very simple for you all to make out. That will be x upon this length, that is under root r square plus x square. Simple, easy, and quite obvious for you all to remember this with this simple formula. So what you do, I want you all to see this formula once again and take note till here, and start from the other end. So I believe that you would have understood this question, and it was a derivation kind of question, and how we utilize the concepts that we have learned earlier to find out the derivation for gravitational field due to a uniform disk. Now I believe that it will be very easy for you all to solve the derivation part whenever it's required. And now if any complicated objects also appear in the examination, you can easily do the derivation part. That we have done a lot of derivations that will be easy and helpful for you all. Now let's go ahead, let's do the next question. Now in this question we are going to use the concept of gravitational field strength due to a solid sphere and due to a ring. The question says that we are given with two objects, one solid sphere of radius capital R and one ring of radius R, both have different masses. So we have one solid sphere and we have one ring, circular ring, and we have circular ring. Now the ring is placed over the solid sphere and both centers are lying at a distance of root 3 capital R. So what I mean to say, solid sphere, its mass is given as capital M, its radius is given as capital R. This is what has been provided. And for the case of ring, it's given that its mass is small m, its radius is same as capital R. This is what has been given. Now both their centers are lying at a distance of root 3 R. So their centers lie at a distance of root 3 capital R. Their centers lie at a distance of root 3 capital R. Okay. Now we are required to find out the gravitational force on the ring due to the solid sphere. There are no other forces acting, they are kept isolated from the all external environment. So it's required what is the value of gravitational force on the ring due to the solid sphere. So find gravitational force on ring due to solid sphere. Find gravitational force on ring due to solid sphere. Whenever I write only sphere, that means you have to assume that we are talking about solid sphere, and if I write shell, then you have to take it as a hollow sphere. Let's go ahead. How the picture looks like. This is the sphere, let's say this is the sphere, this is what we can see, and the ring is lying over it. This is the ring that's lying over it. So we are required to find out the force on the ring due to the sphere. Its radius is also capital R and its radius is also capital R. The distance between the two centers is actually root 3 capital. This is what has been given. Now you see the value of the gravitational field due to the sphere at this point. We can go ahead and we can treat the sphere to be kept at the center. We can treat that the entire sphere is kept at the center, and the value of field, gravitational field due to it at any point on the periphery of the ring, we can easily evaluate that. The value of field due to the sphere at any point of the periphery of the ring can be found out by treating the sphere mass kept at its center. So what we can do, can we reverse the thing? To find out the value of force on the ring, can we find out the force on the sphere due to the ring? Because Newton's third law says that to every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. If a sphere is going to exert a force on the ring is also going to exert the same force on the sphere. So if we find out the value of force due to the ring on the sphere, and we can treat the sphere kept at its center. So let us find out first gravitational field due to the ring at the center, and let us say the center is O and this is O dash. So gravitational field due to ring at O, see, that will come out to be gravitational field due to ring at O. This will come out to be, we already know the value of field due to a ring is nothing but gm, and this distance is root 3r. So gm root 3r upon its radius whole square plus again its distance whole square, that is root 3r whole square. This will give us 3r whole square power 3 by 2. Not a problem, easily we can write this. So this will come out to be r square plus 3r whole square, that is 4r whole square. Then you can easily take its 3 by 2 power. So we are going to obtain gm root 3 capital R and 4r whole square power 1 by 2. You will get that as 2r whole cube. You will get 8r whole cube. This is the value of the field due to ring at the center of the sphere that we have taken as O. 1r will be cancelled out, so we will be obtaining root 3 gm divided by root 3 gm divided by 8 capital R whole square. This is what we have obtained. So force due to the ring on the sphere, we can treat the entire sphere kept at its center. So force on sphere will be nothing but m into field, that is mg, that will come out to be root 3 g capital M to small m divided by 8r whole square. This is what we can show you force on the sphere to the ring. What we did, we just reversed the situation. We were required to find out the force on the ring due to the sphere. So what we did, we found out the value of force on the sphere due to the ring. We just reversed the situation, because Newton's third law says that if a body is applying some force on other will also apply the same force on the body. So for finding the value of field on the periphery of the ring, the entire sphere was treated to be kept at its center. We took that the value of force due to the entire ring, just put the sphere at its center and try to find out the value of field at this point and substitute the value of point mass capital M, which is equal to the mass of sphere. Simple we did, and the value came out to be root 3 gmm upon 8r whole square. Simple. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead with the next problem. And now we have started practicing problems. As every time after each concept and topic when we complete, we start practicing illustrations, and that's required for the better understanding. This question which I am going to put up, it will teach you all something new, that is a new concept you will also learn with this question. Next question says that from a solid sphere we have taken out a part. And how we have taken out? See, we have taken a solid sphere. We have taken a solid sphere. Its mass is capital M and radius is given as capital R. Its mass is given as capital M. Its radius is given as capital R. Now, from this solid sphere, what we have done, we have taken out a part whose radius is r by 2 in such a way that its one end is touching the one end of the sphere and the other diametrically opposite end is touching the center of the solid sphere. That means we have taken out this portion which I am showing you here. We have taken out a portion of solid sphere as shown. This portion we have taken out, so the leftover portion will be this, and we are required to find out the value of force due to this entire arrangement on a particle whose mass is given as small m and it is kept at a distance d from the center of the solid sphere. This is what is required. See, there was a solid sphere, entire mass is capital M, its radius is capital R. What we have done, we have taken a small ball from it outside, we have taken this part outside. Now the leftover portion will be this portion. If you want to see it completely, I can show you with shaded region. This is what you are going to obtain. So the entire leftover portion will be this. So if we are required, what is the value of force that this arrangement is going to exert on this particle of mass small m kept at a distance of small d from the center of the sphere. Let's go ahead. Now, when the entire sphere was solid, when this part was inside, then this entire sphere is going to exert a force, and we can find out the value of force as mass into gravitational field strength due to entire solid sphere. Now, if I take out this part, what I am doing? I am actually removing some mass, so some mass effect will be reduced. So whatever force this part is going to exert, let me subtract that much amount of force. So I'll be getting the net force on this. So first of all, let's find out what mass we have taken out. So the mass that has been removed, we are required to find the force. So I'm writing find force. I hope you would have understood with my statement what the question is demanding from us. Find force on particle of mass small m. So first of all, find out the mass of removed segment in terms of mass of entire solid sphere. Try to find out the mass of removed segment. Mass of removed segment will come out to be removed segment. Let me take that as m dash. M dash. Now that will be equal to total mass per unit volume 4 by 3 pi r cube multiplied by the volume of the removed segment. Now its radius will be r by 2. That's quite obvious. Its radius will be r by 2. So 4 by 3 pi r by 2 whole cube. This is what we are going to obtain. 4 by 3 pi will be cancelled out, and you will be seeing r cube and r cube will be cancelled out. You will be left with m by 8. This is the mass of the removed segment that we can see. Now, what will the value of force due to the leftover portion? That will be equal to force, or instead force we can directly do that later on. First, let us write down the value of field strength. First, let me write down the field strength due to the leftover portion. That will be equal to Gm, see here, Gm divided by the distance, that is equal to d whole square minus G m dash, and now you see the distance, you see this distance, if I mark its center here, this center, if I mark it here, this distance, if I take that as x, so I'll be having its distance of this point distance from the center will be given as x. That this x is nothing but d minus r by 2, which I will be substituting later on, x equal to d minus r by 2, that you can see. So let me write down here gm dash by x whole square. Simple. Then m dash I can put as m by 8, comes out to be g m by d whole square minus g m by 8 x square obtained. So g m we can take common, and in simple words we can write it as 1 upon d whole square minus 1 upon x whole square obtained. So we obtained finally, and we are left with 8 also. 8 I missed, substitute here 8 wholes x square. X is equal to d minus r by 2. X is equal to d minus r by 2 whole square. This is what we will be obtaining. Let me use one larger bracket to show you this. Now go ahead, 8 d minus r by 2 whole square, and now here we have what we can do. Can we write in this way? Gm, I am taking d square here, and 1 minus, you see here the same thing can be written as 8 d square. I can write this d square outside. I have taken d square here. This will come out to be 1 minus r by 2 d whole square. R by 2 we had, d square I have taken outside, so 1 minus, I have to also write d in the denominator, so 1 minus r by 2d whole square. In this term we can get the value of gravitational field strength. Now we are actually required to find out the value of force on this particle of mass small m. So force on particle will come out to be, just multiply m into small g, that will be the value of force. So let me rub this portion. This is done, we are done with this portion, and let me finally write down the force as F. That will come out to be g m m divided by d whole square 1 minus 1 by 8 1 minus r by 2d whole square. This will be the value of force on the given particle of mass small m. What we did, we found out the value of force, the value of gravitational field due to the entire sphere, the value of field due to this part. We actually subtracted the effect of the field due to this part, and then we evaluated the net field, and we got the value of net gravitational force by multiplying the mass. I want you to see this formula once again, the entire thing that we have done. What we do to take note till here, I was starting from the other end. Okay, hope you would have noted this, the solution of this question, and you would have realized how to find the value of force by such kind of arrangement. And now I believe that if you are concentrating and if you are listening to every lectures, you will be easily doing any question that you can practice, and you can reach on to the answers. Let us go ahead. Let us, before ending the class, let us try for a very simple question. Suppose we are given with an arrangement of a solid sphere. This is a solid sphere. Let's say its mass is m and radius capital R. We have a solid sphere, mass capital M, radius is given as capital R. This is what we have provided with. Now let me show you this entire arrangement differently. Solid sphere, this is what has been given. Now there is a hollow sphere which is encircling this solid sphere. There's a hollow sphere which is encircling this solid sphere. The only difference between the two is both masses are same. Also know that both masses are same. We have a hollow sphere as shown here, You can see this, I have drawn a hollow sphere. Although somewhere the portion looks like non-uniform, but try to imagine that we are talking about a hollow sphere. So this shaded portion is representing the hollow sphere. Mass is same, both masses are same, and radius is just different. Radius, the hollow sphere radius is twice of the solid sphere. So what I'm going to show you, this radius is given as r and this radius is given as 2r. Now there are 2 points we are required to find out the value of net gravitational field at this point A and another at point B we are required. A is lying at a distance of 3 by 2 r and B is lying at a distance of 5 by 2 capital R from the center of the sphere. Both are concentric. This is center O. Mass is same, radius is just different. Mass is same. This is also mass is m. It's also mass is m. Now, what is the value of field at point A? For the value of field at point A and B, it will be due to the contribution of both the objects. So for A, if you see here, for point A, the value of field will be due to solid sphere, because we know the value of field due to a hollow sphere is 0 inside the sphere. It will be only due to solid sphere. So what we can write, the value of field will come out to be gm upon distance whole square, that is 3 by 2 r whole square. This is what has been given. So that will come out to be 2 whole square will be 4. So 4 by 9 gm by r whole square. This is what we are going to obtain. We are not going to consider the field effect due to the hollow sphere because its effect will be 0. So neglecting the effect of the hollow sphere, we can find out the value of field only due to the solid sphere at this point. Now for B, you see, for B, what will be the value of field? It will be, the G will be due to both, because point B is acting as an external point both for hollow sphere and solid sphere, and since we can treat the object kept at its center when we are treating for when we are finding the value of field at the external point. So due to both the spheres, or let me say due to solid sphere, this will be due to solid sphere, we have the value of field as gm upon 5 by 2 r whole square, that will give us 4 by 25 gm by r whole square. Got it? Now the value of the net field due to both the objects, just add 2 here, multiply 2 here, because both effect will be same. Mass is same, distance from center is same, treat both the objects kept at center. So net field will be simply, that will be equal to twice of 4 by 25 gm by capital R whole square obtained. 2 into 4, 8. 8 by 25 gm by capital R whole square. We got the value of net field. See, I am using the value of gravitational field to represent it. I am always using small g. You can use even capital E. Some standard books use capital E for the value of field. Some books use small g. You may use either small g or capital E to represent the value of field. Today's class we discussed some simple problems, and we learned that how to use the concepts learned to evaluate the value of force, and we know that force is equal to mass into value of the gravitational field, and using it we found out some results. In the next class we will be seeing more numericals, then we will be relating field and potential. We will be seeing that how field and potential is related, and when we know the value of potential, how we can find the value of field at that particular point. These all things we will be seeing in next class. We will be also seeing that if field is given, then what will be the value of potential difference between 2 points. This all will be helpful, that we will be learning in coming subsequent classes. I believe that you are learning, you are practicing, and you are actually equipping yourself with more knowledge. Until the time, do practice well. I wish you all the very best. I'll meet you on the next class. Thank you, everyone.